Hey Jenna, how are you?
I'm doing beautiful. How are you?
I am good. I'm doing all right over here. It's crazy Brooklyn weather, but all is well over here. So
Yeah.
so let me introduce you before we get started. Jenna Dorcé, for out of transparency, she's also my sister niece, but she is the founder and owner of Paradise is Earth, and Paradise is Earth is about alternative and holistic health services. So I came across your products and your service, and I started seeing you providing services, and I just knew, especially with the time that we're in right now, you're someone that I'd love to talk to just a little bit more to get an understanding of what that all means. But before we get started, how are you? Like, how are you doing, Jenna?
I'm great. I'm great. All things considered.
Right.
Blessed.
Blessed. That's awesome, because so many people now we are dealing with anxiety between COVID and civil unrest. It's just a very interesting time right now. And one of the things that you wrote, where you were talking about ancestral medicine and Black ancestral medicine, I had to find out, what does that mean? Or if you can help me understand, what is Black ancestral medicine and why does it matter?
Well, I feel, to me, Black ancestral medicine is a partnership. You know, our medicine was, and in ways that we may not even be conscious of, it's built into our lives. It's built into our society. It's funny that you asked that, because I was actually thinking about that today. How our food is ancestral. You know, a lot of at least like Black Southern cuisine, a lot of dishes like black-eyed peas, collard greens, and the timing where you would have it, that was a magical process. It was a sign, a meal that was made to bring forth good luck, to bring good wishes in the new year. How we dress, how, we play our drums, everything is deeply interconnected to our spirit as a people. And so my offering in creating the medicine kits for, anyone who was protesting, or anyone who was Black and who just wanted, some holistic, prepared medicine for them, that offering was made because that's a part of our history, being able to have, your priestess, your medicine man, your priest prepare medicine for you that fortifies your spirit as well as your body, so that you can go out into these spaces that challenge you, and go out into these difficult environments that are attempting to tear you down.
Let's take a step back though. What do you mean, for those that don't know, what do you mean by holistic health, holistic medicine?
Well, holistic meaning you are working in relationship with your body, in relation to the earth. So a lot of our planet is abundant. That's why I named it Paradise is Earth, because our planet really is paradise. We are just kind of now figuring out how to encourage our relationship to paradise. And so when I say Paradise is Earth, I mean our planet is abundant. It has everything that we need. Every single plant plays a role and has a purpose, and not just plants, animals too. And so when you're doing holistic healing work, you are finding certain plants that mirror maybe how a specific organ looks, that may have the same chemical constituents, minerals, metals in the body, and you will use these particular plants to help heal those organs or those parts of your body.
Right. Right. And so when you were offering these kits, we started talking about it, but for those who don't know, can you tell me a little bit about what that campaign was for people that were going out? What were you providing them exactly? And how is it going to benefit their lives?
Well, for the first round, because it was just kind of like a spur of the moment thing, but also it was timing of that very divine, because I have started to think about, once I'm done studying to be an Ayurvedic practitioner, I want to open up a wellness cafe. And one of my teachers, he was talking about how with their practice, they have a day once a week where they offer free counseling, they give medicine. And he was just talking about how, like, in his family, people would just show up to their family farm and they wouldn't pay. They would bring what they can, maybe a bag of rice, maybe, a plant or whatever, and they would get healing, they would get medicine. And, I was like, I really love that because, this practice isn't really about commerce. It's about being able to hold space for people so that they can heal themselves. And
Right.
so my offering was specific to whatever people needed. I talked directly with them to ask them, what are you interested in? What are you going through? And I just provided mostly tea blends for managing stress. A lot of people are feeling unstable, ungrounded. So tea blends for grounding and to just feel stable enough to start to heal, as well as some energy tools like spiritual divine holy spray that's made with holy water
Mm-hmm.
and flower essences. And I also prepared some wound care balms and
Mm-hmm.
septic for people who are actually, on the front lines protesting,
Yeah.
um, and some immunity boost tonics and some cough syrup, like all different kinds of things.
That's so awesome. How did you get started in this? Like how does one go through and learn about apothecary and the type of healing elements that you practice?
Well, I kind of just started out because I didn't have health insurance. And I was
Talk
like,
about that, right?
no
Right?
insurance. I was like, all right, I need to figure out how I can, make myself feel better. At least, find a way, like find something that can make me feel like I'm just out here in the wind. And if I get
Yeah.
knocked down and I'm done for. And so I started visiting this one herb shop, and they changed their name, but the last time I was there in New York, in Brooklyn, they were called the Herb Shop, and I started going there and just asking them questions, learning, about what they had, and looking at things and seeing, oh, what does this do? What does this do? What does that do? And then I
Mhm.
bought a book and I started reading that book, and then I started buying more books and more books. And really just started practicing on my own and teaching myself. And with this kind of practice, you're never not learning. There's always new things to discover and uncover. And I started leaning more towards more interest in Ayurvedic practices, and that's how I found myself taking going to school for Ayurveda.
Oh wow. Wow. And Ayurveda is
Ayurveda is an Indian practice. It's the science of life, and it falls in line with my own belief that I am merely just like a facilitator in helping you heal yourself. And so
yeah.
that's practice is, and it encompasses the mind, body, and the spirit.
Why do you feel like this is important right now? Like why are you practicing this? Why is this become something that you're just so passionate about?
Well, I'm passionate about it because I think it brings us back to a certain level of reverence for our planet. You know, I think that our relationship to our planet has been so distorted and disconnected.
Yes.
Even from how we get our food, like we're not in touch with our food at all. It's passed through so many hands.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, we don't really like think about the energy that's going into our food. You know, who's preparing it, who's picking it, what are they putting in the soil, what are they spraying on it? You know, like there's no relationship there. And so I feel like when you start to examine that relationship, it just kind of out into different things, you know, and it spreads out into, oh, you know, herbal teas, holistic healing with herbs. And so I think I kind of did it the opposite way. Like I didn't go the food route. I went the tea route.
Which is just as important, if not, right? Like, right.
Now I'm circling into, you know, growing my own food and eating from my own hands and the land, which is great. But I'm really passionate about just us healing our relationship to the land. I think that when you heal your relationship to the land, it opens you up to healing so many different spaces within us. And then
layers,
also,
right?
Say what?
I said so many layers, just layers of ancestral work, if you will, that needs to be healed.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So, Jenna, what do you say to those who push back a little bit on this? We were taught, and I love this idea of herbal solutions to illnesses and calming and healing. But we were taught here in the Western world that medicine, pharmaceutical, pills. And we have doctors pushing us on that. So we've kind of like, I want to say strayed away from our connection to ancestral or our Black spiritual healing, if you will. But what do you say to those that think of it as a witchcraft or sorcery type of work? Like they're just not comfortable within themselves and leaning into holistic or alternative health practices. What do you say to those people?
I honestly don't know what I would say to those people. You know, I think that this is something that has to be a natural progression, you know, and some people just aren't going to see the benefits of it. But I would also say, like, when I look at Western medicine, and not all Western medicine, but I'm just like speaking personally from what I've watched my own family members go through, I haven't seen any good outcomes. I haven't seen, you know, people go into the hospital and come back out. You know what I'm saying? Like I've watched family go to the hospital and they don't come back. So I've family go to the doctor and continue to get sick. You know, it's our Western medicine to me is reactionary, you know, where it needs to be, and you start to see this a little bit more with like homeopathic medicine. It needs to move into a space to where you're not looking at the person at the height, at the alarm, you know, of the disease, but you're looking at the habits and the frame of mind and the emotional, you know, like atmosphere that can create disharmony, which turns into disease. I believe that's why, you know, there's real power in working with plants, because plants just don't heal on a physical level. They also work on an energetic level. But you know, it's like, I feel it needs to be a natural progression. Like I'm not here, and I don't think anybody should try and push any one agenda, any one idea. It has to be something that is peaked in them. They have to see, they have to feel that for themselves.
You know, it's interesting. I spoke with Dr. Ruby, and not for the Silver Lining series, but when I interviewed her for Capital Jazz TV a while ago, she was talking about how she had a form of cancer. I forget, I don't know if it's ovarian, or she had a form of cancer. And when they told her that she wasn't going to make it and that XYZ, the first thing she went for was her food. Like that's the first target. Like if I have cancer, I need to change my food. I need to change my habits, my way of life. And that was kind of like her awakening. What's been your awakening working with the soil and the plants and your own personal health? Like, what's been that transformation, that aha for you in this field?
Well, the aha for me was a combination of things. It wasn't just food. It was also my relationship to my spirituality. Like I didn't really have my aha moment until I, was meditating every day and praying every day. And there's a certain level of reverence that you cultivate when you start to really embody the teachings that you're, watching or listening to, embodying, the teachings of Christ or Buddha, or the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita. I really didn't start to see results on a mind body level until I started working on my relationship to my spirit. Because once I started doing that, my eating habits changed. I didn't have certain cravings. I didn't want to eat a certain way. And it wasn't like I didn't have to break a habit and go through like, a tough 30, 40 days. It was just very natural. Like I just let go of things.
Nice. What do you say for that first timer, that person who they've been taking their medication every day? We just have our habits. We're just everyday people, have our habits. We eat what we want to eat. What do you say to that person that wants to go kind of this route of holistic healing? What's like the first thing they should grab, or the herb they should get their hands on?
I would say chamomile and calendula are two very subtle, very gentle flowers, but their effects they last long. Also, oat straw, oat tops. It's an adaptogen. It's a nervine, so it's really great. Also, chamomile, really great for tension, for stress, for depression, brings the body back into alignment. Calendula is really great because it stokes the fires. It's really good for your digestion, really good for the gut. Ginger.
I put ginger on everything.
Ginger, inside, outside, everywhere.
Ginger's like the wonder root. Like who? Like
it is.
And I hated ginger growing up. When my mom used to make like that ginger, old school Haitian ginger tea, I used to like puke at the thought of it. Now I can't get enough of it.
Ginger is like, it really is a wonder root. It has so many different actions on the body when it's dried versus it being fresh. Also great for digestion. You can use it for anything like nausea, digestion, if you have a headache,
hangover.
I could sit here and just like talk about like all just the things that you should keep in your kitchen, like a kitchen apothecary. Like always have rosemary
staples, right?
Always have, thyme on deck. Rosemary is also good for headaches, also good for any sinus issues. If you want to go a bit further, have some cardamom, some cinnamon, and some black pepper, ginger, throw that in a pot, boil it up. Sinus issues are gone. you know, like little things like that. Right. Little, right. Little things like that, you know, that you can just always have and go to, you know, if you have just little issues, because this is, you know, your sinus issues can balloon into something else. Your digestive issues can balloon into something else. You know, a little nerve pain can balloon into something else. So this is about tending to the issue while it's small, and being to just learn to work with your body.
Yeah. Jenna, is there, now that we're kind of in this space where, you know, Black Lives Matters, and we are at a point right now where we're dismantling racism and white supremacy, and we're still dealing with the pandemic and COVID. We're dealing with so many different things right now, as I talked about in the beginning. And then there's this food, herbal, energetic, holistic health approach. Is there a silver lining in all of this?
I believe that there is a silver lining in all of this. And I'm sure you've heard this before, this is like a reset, you know, this is our chance to undo so much that has bound us in ways where we thought we were living when we really weren't, where we thought we were free and we really were not. You know, this is our moment to not just turning outward and seeing, you know, this play out, but turning inward and looking into the spaces where, you know, you still have your own prejudices. And it doesn't have to be a race thing or a sexual orientation thing or a gender thing. It can be any type of prejudice that you have, any ways where you have been warring with yourself, any ways where you have been violent towards yourself, and work through that so that you can now go into the world with less tension within yourself, so that you can hold space for other people to work through theirs.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow, Jenna, well, thank you so much for your time. I am so glad we got a chance to talk. I've been following you and reading everything, and it's just like, oh my gosh, this is what I want to talk about with her. This is what I want to talk about. And so, you know, I'm always good for a good herbal remedy for something. So it's good that you're bringing this work and you're connecting us and making this work matter. So thank you so much.